Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the PB03 Kamen Rider Seeker Movie Battle Royale set from the Revolve change figure line for Kamen Rider Geats. So unfortunately this line has pretty much shifted all premium Bandai. This is our fourth premium Bandai release since we had the PB00 set as well. But at least the line's continuing, and I think it looks pretty cool. You can see here that this is centered around the movie. We have Seeker here, and then they also show Geats using it as well. A lot of cool stuff packed into this one. The full breakdown is here on the top. So we have the two halves here for Seeker's form. We get the three weapons. We have Seeker's helmet. Now, when Geats wears this part of the armor, I guess there's some subtle differences here with kind of like the helmet's jawline and the shoulder pad, so they include those pieces as well. And then we actually get helmets for both Revi and Vice. I think that's really cool. If we flip around the box to the other side, we can see them in action here with Vice wearing Monster and Revi wearing Beat. So I think that's really, really cool. I was really excited to find out that they were included because at first I thought this was just the Seeker stuff. So that's really cool. Over here we have a picture of Seeker. Over here on this side we have Seeker again, but he is Revolve changed there. Not really anything going on the bottom. And we've already seen the back. So I think this is really cool. I think this is going to be a pretty great set. I'm going to get everything out of the box here, and we're going to take a closer look. So here's everything that comes included. Of course, we have our two halves for Seeker, which we'll take a closer look at in a moment. And then we have our Seeker helmet, which I think came out pretty good. Then my favorite part, honestly, is the Revi and Vice helmets. I was not expecting these, and these are really, really cool. They did a nice job with these. The Vice one is ridiculously massive, but it's got a lot of nice detail, a lot of nice paint applications. One extra paint application. I have some pink there on the visor. I can probably get that out. But yeah, they look really, really good. And then you have your kind of option parts for when Geats wears the armor. So you have your shoulder pad and your different head there. And then we have the three weapons. So we have this massive cannon, which came out pretty nice. Then we have the hammer, and you would just pop this piece off so you could slide it into the hand, and then you'd have to pop this back on the end. But that came out pretty good as well. And then we have our Tokuger sword. But that came out pretty nice as well. It looks like this is kind of molded in red plastic, and then this is probably gray, and then they just painted this piece red. So it doesn't match completely, but it's pretty close. Not too bad. So yeah, it's a really nice set. We got a lot of good stuff going on here. I'm going to go ahead, kind of move this stuff to the side, and we'll take a look at the two Seeker halves. Alright, so here are our two halves for the new form. This being the build section here. For the build buckle, you can see it's connected right there. It looks pretty good. You got a lot of nice stuff going on with this. So first up, the head I think looks pretty good. Nice paint applications there. The shoulders here are moving. We have this piece on a ball joint. He does have the kind of clamp here on the arm that can open and close. And then he's got this whole piece here on the chest that can rotate out and move around, which I think is really fun. I wish it could kind of face forward so it look like he's grabbing enemies with it, but unfortunately it's just a swivel everywhere. So it's a swivel there, a swivel there, a swivel there. And then these open and close. And then it does pop off a lot, I will admit that, but it's very easy to just pop right back in. And then we're going to just fold that back in. And the articulation for these is pretty typical. You have the ball joint here for the head, and you can pop this head off and replace it with this head pretty easily. We'll do that later on when we show the Geats formation. And then you have the kind of ball joint here in the shoulder with the hinge. The shoulder pad can kind of move around a little bit. You got the bicep swivel. You got the double jointed elbows there. Actually, no, that's a single joint. It just has a really good range of motion. Then you got the ball joints down here for the wrists / ankles. This can kind of move around a little bit. That's mostly for when it becomes pants, but you can still move that around a little bit if you like. Like I said, this does fall off a decent amount, but you can pop it back on. Hold on. Come on now. It's starting to transform on me. Not yet. We'll transform you in a minute. Why will this not... Oh, because I'm connecting the wrong half. That would be why. That would be why. Okay, so now we're good to go here. I wanted to show off this piece on the back. So you can see we have the gray and red kind of cylinders here on the back. And you can see the blue one over here on this piece. And that has to do with which weapon he's using at the time. Because this half has the combo piece with the 3 smaller buckles on it, which I think is really cool. Would be nice if they were painted, but at least it's all molded in there, which looks pretty good. And then you can see, I'll just take this off for the moment. You can see the emblems here on this chest piece. So if you want to switch them out, these all just unpeg, and then you can peg the blue one back on here. And then you can go ahead and peg the red one, or whichever one you would like to use. I think I have this. Okay, now I'm just knocking everything off. What's going on? There we go. So then you can just have that on there. So I think that's cool. You know, they have all the options represented there. The packaging only ever really shows the blue one being connected, but they do have these other options here on the back. I have not seen the movie yet, so I would imagine whenever he activates, you know, the specific one, that piece then flips around here and is represented on the front here like this. At least I have to assume. This is pretty basic. Honestly, this is very reminiscent of, you know, the kind of smaller buckles, like just having the chest piece and the shoulder pad here and the head. Now, technically, if you wanted to take this head off, or actually, I guess it would be easier to just take the shoulder pad and the chest. Well, no, because then the buckle would be wrong. You could take the head off of this and put it onto a regular base form if you wanted someone else to have the gold eyes when they use one of the smaller buckles. So that gives you some customization options there as well. But let's go ahead, let's transform and get our full Seeker going on here. Alright, so we're going to start by taking this half, and I'm just going to take these off temporarily because I'm sure they're just going to fall off during the transformation anyway. We're going to rotate this headpiece back. It's going to unhook from the chest, and then we can kind of just start to bring these pieces around to the side, like so, and then straighten out our legs here, like that. And then this would go, let's see, this was over here, so I guess this would stay like this. And then we're just going to peg this in like that. Now these will probably have to move around to the side a little bit so that this can come up and peg in here. And then just tuck the head down like so, and then you kind of push these back in. And then we grab our Seeker helmet and pop that on top and zoom out so we can see everything. And there we go. We got Kamen Rider Seeker fully formed up. He looks cool. I like him a lot. I think they did a nice job with this. Everything connects very well, very solid. And then we can start giving him weapons. So we have the sword here, which looks pretty good. We got the giant weapon, the giant gun. Now I think this has another handle here, so there should be a way to get this over and have him hold this piece here. I wish this was just kind of a solid circle. It's kind of angled in a way that he'd have to hold it specifically. So this is proving more difficult than it should. But you can see what I mean, how it's kind of shaped. I wish it was just kind of like a circle so that it could fit into the hand any way that I can get it in here. But you can get the hand over here, no problem. It's just the angle's very strange. So yeah, I'm going to abandon this. But anyway, honestly, he can hold it one-handed pretty well. It's not super droopy or too heavy or anything like that. The problem with Seeker is he's just got a lot of these little pieces that kind of move around, as you can see here. And they like to fall off. So that is something to be aware of. Let's pop this back on, fold this in. I will say these little chest pieces down here, and I had the same problem with the other set, they fall off a lot. but we can get him going here. And there he is with the giant cannon. Let's give him the hammer. We got to take this piece off the bottom, slide this through, and then pop this back on. And the box has him in kind of a over-the-shoulder pose with the hammer. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Let's see if I can get him to stand. Now, the only thing is, because you have kind of the shoulder and the bicep and the elbow joints, when they turn into legs, you know, that's more joints than humans have. We don't have a bend in the middle of our shin, but you can still get him to stand pretty well. Yeah, there you go. That works. I like that. Very cool. So now we'll go ahead and I will switch him around to the other configuration. I'm not going to show the transformation just because all these transform the same way, but I'll just transform them quick and then show you the other, you know, the Revolve change version. So here he is with his pieces switched around. Now I will say the like build piece is not the best in terms of pants, just because it's got a ton of stuff going on, super bulky. You have the piece here that was on the chest that you kind of need to like rotate around to kind of hang here on the side. That's kind of bulky. The shoulder pad here, you know, it's kind of bulky as a knee pad. It works all right. This leg's not too bad. Over here, what they do is this piece that was connected down here, they have you take it off and you can peg it onto the very end of the shoulder pad here and then rotate that to the side, and then it just kind of hangs here. So I don't know. I just think it's much better as a torso than it is as pants, just because there's so much going on and it's just a lot of bulk just hanging off the legs. I do like the look of this section here, you know, as a torso. I think that's perfectly fine. The other thing is, because of that like jawline piece, you can't tuck the head back as nicely as you usually can. It's not too much hanging out there, but just has that extra piece. So I do like the look of it, but I think the other version is a little better just because, you know, there's a lot hanging off the legs here in this version, but it can be done. They can be switched around. And ultimately, I think it looks pretty cool. I just think I prefer the other version. Alright, I have the build buckle transformed back into the torso, so now we can see the combination with Geats. So the first thing we have to do is go ahead and just pop the head off. We're going to take the shoulder pad off, which can be a little difficult because it's really pegged on there. So basically how this works, you kind of have to pull one side off and then pop the other side off. It is kind of a little bit softer, malleable plastic, but it can be kind of tricky. The other shoulder pad's a little easier, but you can see how it just has those two peg holes, and there's two pegs here. So then you kind of have to like squeeze it back down when you put it back on. So we take those two pieces off. This piece we're also going to take off, one, because we need to attach Geats' scarf, but also because I believe this is only when he's using the other buckle, and he's not going to be using that here. He's just going to be using this half. So what I like to do is pop this section back, just because it makes it a little bit easier to attach the other head. As I fling it across the room, here we go. So here he is right here. And we're going to just pop this on like this. And then we can pop this back up and click that into place. And then kind of situate this. So now we have the kind of larger jawline there. We're going to bring in our other shoulder pad. And I believe it gets connected like this. So we're going to kind of do one side here and then kind of squeeze this to fit over. And like I said, this one's a little bit easier than the previous one. There we go. And kind of click that there. So the shoulder pad can be a little annoying, but just be a little gentle with it. You'll probably have to temporarily stretch it a little bit, but you can get that going. All right, so those changes have been made. We're going to bring in the Geats scarf and peg that in to this little spot right here. So pop that in there, like so. And then I'm just going to use just a blank bottom half here. That is not part of the set. I just want to clarify that it is from another set that I have previously. But we'll pop that on there. Here we go. Situate this. And then bring in our Geats helmet. Pop that on there. And then we will give him the sword, since that is the weapon he primarily used when he was using this. And let me zoom out here. And there we go. We got Geats using the build buckle. He looks pretty cool. I like it. Rocking the scarf, rocking the giant sword. And he did use this on the show for a couple episodes. Was this start of like the 3rd game, I want to say? Something like that. It was kind of surprising. I definitely did not expect to see this in the show that regularly, but he did use it for a time. But yeah, there we go. We got Geats using the form. He looks pretty good. I like it. And of course, I had to show these two off quick. I love the fact that they included these helmets. I think Revi looks fantastic. I think Vice looks good too, but his is just absolutely massive. I mean, that's as far down as it can go because it kind of hits into the neck piece there and it can't go any further down. But they both look cool. I'm really glad they were included. Now, just to confirm, it's just the helmets that are in this set. Obviously, Beat and Monster were a separate set. I think that was PB02. So I have videos for those up as well if you want to take a look at those. But this is the forms that showed on the back of the box. So I'm assuming this is what they use in the movie. Which I think makes kind of sense. You know, he's a monster. I guess Beat they just chose because the color scheme is kind of closest to Revice. That's my guess, but yeah, these are really cool. I love the inclusion of these helmets, and I think they look fantastic. Will you please stand? There we go. Yeah, they look great. I think this is a pretty fun set. I think Seeker came out great. I will admit he does have some fiddly bits that do tend to pop off while you're handling him, but they always pop right back on, so there's no problem there. But overall, like I said, I really do think he came out pretty great. I love all 3 of the weapons. I like how you can switch them around. I will say that I think the build buckle here definitely works better as a torso as opposed to pants. Doesn't look terrible in the pants form. It's just that he's got a lot of bulk, and when you try to just have that hang off the legs, it gets a little messy. But I will say I do like this section here as the torso as well. So they both work great as a torso, just this one doesn't work as well as the lower half. But the weapons look great. I love the helmet. I love the extra little shoulder and mouth pads, pieces, whatever you want to call them, for when you connect it to Geats. I think that's really nice attention to detail. So all that's fantastic. I love the inclusion of the Revi and Vice heads. That's absolutely fantastic. So honestly, all in all, I think it's a really fun set. Just be aware. My biggest complaint is just that some of the little more fiddly bits tend to fall off. But again, you can always pop them right back on. But other than that, it's a nice set. A lot of great attention to detail, a lot of customization, especially with, you know, like the different pieces here, depending on which weapon he's using, whether Seeker or Geats is using it, you know, having it be both the torso and the pants. So there's a lot of options here, and I think it's fun. I think it's a pretty cool set, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So keep them coming at this point. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.